What's going on, guys? Welcome to Breaking Tackles, the New York Giants podcast. I am your host, Antonio, alongside with my man Manny. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna break down, which is Black Friday. It wasn't black enough for us, but we'll take something out of nothing. Manny, what's going on, man? How are you?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Man. I'm doing good. Black Monday was a day to remember, and we're gonna get into it. But there's obviously a lot to talk about in Giants world. How you doing, brother?
Absolutely. Doing good, man. I'll be honest, man. I kind of expected with how things were going to go today. And I'm pretty sure we were both hopeful, but we knew that we probably was going to get one of the guys that we wanted out, not both of them. The Giants never seem to give us nowadays exactly what we want. So Dave Gettleman is gone, but, we still got Judge. How do you feel about that, man? I'm sure you're ecstatic about Gettleman getting retirement.
Yeah, yeah. At this point, I don't care. Retirement,
It doesn't matter.
fired. So if you take him out like they did Jazz in Fresh Prince, however the case, like he
Yeah.
needed to go. It was 2 years too late.
Yep.
And I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and just shit on him because he was a guy who came in, a lot of hopes, a lot of us in the fan base was pretty. I was hyped. I was excited to see a new guy come in there and do his thing because I wasn't into the Giants fear like I am now, and
Yeah.
realizing that what's out there, what's different, and
I
I was
got it.
always about the Giant way, and obviously he definitely missed on promises that he said he would do. And granted, listen, he did come. This doesn't get mentioned enough, but
Mm-hmm.
he did come into the job while he was also battling cancer and was in
Mm-hmm.
chemotherapy and stuff. That was tough, but I blame that more on the Giants for bringing in a guy who probably shouldn't have never taken the job to begin with. But hey, if
Right.
someone's offering me the job, I'll take it.
Right.
But
Right.
there's a lot of
Of
things.
course.
I mean, obviously, we can go into details
Yeah.
in depth, but for you,
I want to
what
say
was your
this
biggest
in
thing with
terms
him?
of expectations when he came in. I was a little bit worried. Two things. Why? First and foremost, Steve Smith was like, "You guys effed up," from the get go.
Josh Norman.
And Josh Norman, and they were players saying that. And I am a players first type of guy. I've always been that. Even if it's the Giants itself, I would pick players over the Giants team itself. I'm just that type of person because I played football. I understand what these athletes get shitted on, and I understand how they get treated. That at the end of the day, I'm not for the multi-billion-dollar business. I'm for the players themselves. So
Right
the
on.
players came out, and a lot of the ex players for Gettleman came out, and they gave a warning. And then my friend, I'm in this big Madden group chat, which has people from all over the country, and there's Panthers fans in that Madden group, and they warned me. They was like, "Dude, like he didn't work out for us. Best of luck with you." And it's funny getting the the the
Parallels.
opinions of the yeah, like the sticky notes, whatever you want to call it, from other people, other fan bases when they bring their guys over here. And Gettleman came in with bad review. Now,
Yeah.
in terms of what kind of threw me off, like with him, it was, and you mentioned to me this off camera, it was the double dipping that he was doing. And that
Yes.
was really concerning for me. I'm like, dude, why do you keep spending so much resources in the interior alignment, in the defense side of the ball? And when he went and he drafted, I think we had Tomlinson.
Tomlinson was there already when he
Dalvinson was
came
there,
in.
right?
Yeah.
Then he gets BJ Hill, which I thought was a good pick. Then he also gets Leonard Williams, when I'm like, all right, there's way too much things going on here right now.
Drafted Dexter Lawrence
Gets
in
Dexter
that
Lawrence.
draft. And then you mentioned the BJ Hill pick in that
Right,
same draft. He drafted RJ McIntosh.
right,
He's not even on the team anymore.
right. And that was just like, dude, like why? Like, and I'm not mad at the players because I think Dexter Lawrence is not gonna live up to the first round pick, but I still think he's a good run stopping lineman, which is cool. Um, I love Leonard Williams. I think Leonard Williams is
Yeah.
one of the best top 10 interior linemen in the league.
Last year and this year has really,
I think he played
because
excellent
especially
this
this
year.
year, everyone's off
Yeah,
on Leonard Williams, but he did play. I
dude, he
mean,
played out of his
he
mind.
wasn't he was one of the guys on those teams you need to be excited for the next year. And we'll get into that later.
Absolutely, absolutely. And listen, the guys that he brought in, cool, but you spent too much on those positions, dude. Like, what were you doing? And everything felt from Gettleman like it was reactive instead of proactive. The Landon Collins getting released from the team, not getting anything for Landon Collins, and then here's the funny part. Nobody wanted Landon Collins. How the hell did Landon Collins then end up in Redskins for the highest paid contract? That doesn't make any sense. Like, obviously the Redskins didn't want it. Washington wanted him. But on
2 weeks.
But on top of that, we got a compensation, a comp pick for him, a late third, which is and honestly it was a fourth because I judge draft picks not by the round you pick him, but by the number that you pick him, and he's a fourth, early fourth, and maybe
not to mention the OBJ deal.
Say it again.
Not to mention the OBJ situation with saying we didn't sign him to trade him, and then you trade him.
So on top of that, dude, put it this. Here's one thing. I'm not even gonna talk about that. He could lie and whatever. He got rid of dudes like JPP and OBJ and never replaced them.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of people and not have answers for them. And the answers that you do have for them aren't as good.
Golden Tate, Alec Ogletree, guys that didn't stay here longer than 2 years.
You wouldn't pick nobody that we have right now over OBJ. At least, and listen, OBJ just went to the Rams right now and he's killing it in the Rams. So I don't care about Brown's OBJ because Baker Mayfield is suspect. I don't watch Baker Mayfield enough, but if you're going to the Rams now and you have 6 touchdowns in 5 games or whatever the hell he has right now, it's like, dude, okay, the quarterback has been the problem.
They won the division. They won the division, and now they're in the playoffs. They're playing next Monday in the playoffs.
So, like you mentioned to me, Gettleman promised us better O-line, sacks, and running the ball, right? That's what it was?
Running the ball, rushing the passer, stopping the run, blocking for O-line. And the Giants are like, outside of Andrew Thomas and Leonard Williams, I'll say Aziz, because Aziz looks like he could be a ascending player moving on. They aren't good at any of those things. And Saquon, it's not even about the Saquon pick. It's not even about the player. It's just the pick where you got him. It is about the pick. It's about where you got him and what you could have done.
Yeah.
If you didn't want to pick somebody, who are you going to get besides Saquon? Get somebody else. Get another player. Trade back.
Manny, I felt that last year was just him trying to save face. And he traded down just to trade down because the Giants fans has been like, yo, when is the first time that we're going to trade down? Which was now it's great. We have 2. Yeah. We're going to get 2 studs.
2 top 7 picks. You know 5 and 6. 5 and 7. Yeah.
Hopefully we get 2 studs and we have a whole bunch of picks in the first 80 picks overall.
Yeah.
I think we have 5 picks in the first 80.
5 picks, 2 1s, a 2, and 2 3s. And both the 1 and 3s are top of the draft.
High, exactly. So we're gonna get players that should at least the 2 3s. We could get hopefully it's a starter out of those 2 3s. But number 2 and the 2 number 1s have to be freaking starters.
They have to hit. That's something that tells you usually when you retire, the company gives you something. Well, he was so bad, he gifted the company something. Yeah. He gifted them those 5 picks. Yeah. And I kept saying that the whole time. I'm like, this has to be Gettleman's last year, whether they win or lose. And hey, at least his last year, he said, here y'all go. And a lot of people said that, hey, his future was uncertain, but at least he said, I'm going to try to trade back and nothing else, keep this team set. I mean, granted, even though the cap was gaze, it's not like it's going to be easy for the next GM to go ahead and change that up. But
tell me, what are the pieces that you did like that Gettleman did in his tenure here?
I mean, I like number 1, him drafting Andrew Thomas. I think that's his cream of the crop. That's it. I mean, Andrew Thomas looks like, from
the real deal.
Middle of last year to now, he's the best player on the offensive line, and he's an important player. That's an important player. Then getting the trade back, we already talked about that. Getting players like I always say that because
here's
it helps us
problem.
now.
Here's another problem that I had with DJ, and I forgot that I mentioned this. Leonard Williams, right? He invested so much in Leonard Williams, right?
Traded a third for him.
Cool. Leonard Williams then analytically, right, has a really good season, really bad statistical season, doesn't get the sacks, doesn't get the things that, the flashy things. Analytically, though, he was hitting the quarterback. He was getting pressure.
I think he had the most tackles of any D tackle this year.
I screamed. I was like, Gettleman, sign him long term now. The dude, I think franchise tag him or left him playing on the contract. What happens? Leonard Williams get 10 sacks the year after, and then he has to pay him a shitload of money.
Yeah,
it's like you're this guy that was my biggest problem with Gettleman. He never was proactive. He didn't see the light outside the tunnel. He acted after it, and I think that's you can't be a GM in the NFL if you can't see the future. You know what I'm saying? You don't have that little crystal ball.
If you can't play chess, and that's what it is, setting your next move up for your next move.
Thank you. He never did that with us.
My man was playing like bullshit checkers.
he was reacting to everything, and that was my biggest problem with him. In terms of the good, thank you for Leonard Williams. Thank you for Bradbury.
The players he drafted, like
Thomas,
Xavier McKinney,
dude, he brought a lot of good pieces here. I'm not gonna take that
away
away from him.
Tony,
I know Tony has talent, and if we get an offensive coordinator over here that knows how to use a Tony, then it's gonna look good, man.
Aaron Robinson's another player that looked all right. Azeez Ojulari had,
Gettleman
8
gave
sacks.
us pieces to be competitive next season. So there's pieces here to do that.
There are. And I feel like you and I are the only ones that kind of feel like the Giants do have a pathway to be somewhat successful next year.
Which is perfect. We don't want nobody to jump on this bandwagon right now. We want it just to be us two so we can brag about it coming next season. Because it's gonna happen, dude. Listen, I think Judge and we'll get to Judge in a second, but I think this team is missing that offensive coordinator crazy. But
exactly.
With that being said, now we have the Giants looking for a replacement in the GM. They have released the names that the Giants are looking for interview. You got those names, right, Manny?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Joe Sheen, assistant GM for the Bills. Then we got Ryan Cowden, VP player personnel for the Tennessee Titans. Mm-hmm. And we got Monty Austinfort, Tennessee director of player personnel. Then we got Kansas City director of player personnel, Ryan Poles.
Yep.
Then we got, I guess we'll put him on the list, punk ass Kevin Abrams. He's on the list. He's there. You know, it's like the minority hire that you got to at least give an interview to. He's a minority in this. He ain't going to get to that. Then you got Adrian Wilson, former safety for the Arizona Cardinals, and currently is their VP of pro player personnel. Adam Pierce and Ryan Catherine, 2 guys from the 49ers. I mean, right off the bat, Kansas City, Buffalo Bills,
right,
Arizona Cardinals, 49ers. All teams in the playoffs.
Progressive
all teams with deep rosters.
Right. I love the names that have come out. It doesn't look like we're gonna search into dude. One thing that and shout outs to my boy, just a Giants fan podcast. He mentioned to me on Twitter. He said, "Hey, we're gonna have all the guys in the list are relatively young dudes." And Manny, what you pointed out to me before we was on air is that these guys have put in work. These guys have 10 plus, 15 plus, 20 years in the league.
Starting as like scouts on the college side.
Scouts, some of them former players.
Joe Sheen was a freaking ticket scout, was like working the ticket department for the Carolina Panthers.
That's insane.
You know,
dude.
I mean, these guys just the one
football.
thing. Yeah, and then Joe Sheen was a guy who is used to doing what the Giants should do. Came in as assistant GM with Brandon Bean.
Right.
He was the assistant. He's currently assistant GM for Brandon Bean in Buffalo right now. They came into Buffalo, got rid of the whole scouting department, got rid of everybody, and started from the ground up.
Right.
Team builder, a guy who is going to be out there scouting players, a guy who's going to be out there and bringing people with him that's going to be able to scout players, not just on their stats and where they went to, but knowing the actual person themselves. Like that video I showed you. Like, I'm really high on Joe Sheen. I'm very high on Joe Sheen.
As soon as you showed me that video, I was like, I know this guy has the right mindset for this, man.
And remember how we were talking about we don't want a connection to the Giants. We don't want anyone that has any connection to the Giants. Joe Sheen, there is a connection to the Giants, but it's not who you would think. Back in 2008, he was under Bill Parcells when Bill Parcells was in the front office for the Miami Dolphins.
And I'm cool with that.
And Bill Parcells said this about him because, listen, Bill Parcells, he's still him and Coughlin, the OG coaches, right?
Right.
Bill Parcells This was an actual quote from him. I'm impressed with Joe because he was a sharp guy, Parcells told the Athletic Joe's Pascalia, and he had a good thought process when it came to evaluating players. Things that, like, you would think that a GM should be good at, and you have the resources to do it. But the issue is that for whatever reason, the Giants, whether it was Jerry Reese, who was kind of still sitting with the trophy cases of the Super Bowl titles before,
Right.
or Dave Gettleman, who couldn't even get off his couch
Right.
without assistance, like
Right.
guys that just
Yes.
weren't guys who were going to be out there on the road getting their hands dirty, getting the tape film reviewed.
One
looking at
random
the
week,
best
you might
players
see Joe
Yeah.
Sheen or Ryan Poles, which are the two guys that that are on my top tier of my list. Is Ryan Poles and
Yeah.
Joe Sheen. But yes, one random week, you might see these guys in a freaking LSU or in a game or something like that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna go themselves and go check it out because
You might see him at Texas State University,
yeah, dude, they might
like
go to the
a
Longhorns,
random
baby.
college, just evaluating talent.
Exactly, man. And I think that that's something that absolutely you got to be excited for. I think that what I'm excited
And
for
it's not
these
just
guys.
that.
Go ahead.
And then there's one guy specifically I think we do have to mention, Adam Peters. He's been in the NFL for 18 years in the front office. He's in his fourth season as the
For the
vice president
49ers.
of player personnel for the 49ers.
Mhm.
He came from he worked with the Broncos from 2009 and 2016
Right.
as their director of college scouting. When the year they won a Super Bowl, he was in that front office. But not only that, he was a scout assistant with the Patriots and was part of their 2 Super Bowl wins back in 2003 and 2004. So that's another guy who not only has, is from the 49ers tree now and was with the Broncos,
Right.
but he also won Super Bowls as a scout with the Patriots.
Yeah. No. And
Like, this is
even
a
though
very
I think
this
that
isn't the Giants. I'm sorry, I just want to say this isn't the
they've
Giants.
knocked the Patriots on their drafting though. Patriots haven't been good at drafting from what I remember though.
From 2003, 2004. I mean, that was.
Those are Super Bowl
I mean, they did.
years.
He
right.
was. Yeah, they won Super Bowls in those years, and he was a scout for that. And he,
Right.
if nothing else, got the experience to be able to go to the 49ers.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, like looking at this list of players and their
Right.
experiences and stuff. I mean, fun fact about one of the guys, Rand Catherine, he was a former player, and so was his dad, Maurice, who played for the New York Giants. So I love the fact that the Giants have such an extensive list of 7 people that they
Right.
can look at
Right.
that aren't like a fucking Charles Casserly
Here's
or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some guy that is not going to get like Louis Riddick, Charles
Louis
Casserly,
Riddick,
Kevin Abrams, and Dave Gettleman were the last guys they interviewed for GM.
please.
Duh, Dave Gettleman was going to be the guy.
Yeah. The only guy on TV right now that I would be like, yo, I'm with it. It's what's his name? Stick to football guy. I forgot the guy's name, but
Daniel
that's his
Jeremiah?
podcast. Daniel Jeremiah. Daniel Jeremiah knows his scouting.
But he's been a scout for the Ravens, if I'm not mistaken.
So
too.
he's been in football, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's just coming off TV, whatever. But and neither is Riddick, so I can't even say that. But I'm just saying, like, these guys, they're young guys. They're gonna be hands on. But here's why I'm mostly interested in the 2 guys, the one from the Bills in Kansas City. Why? Because those guys are right now in an organization that has their franchise quarterback. Those guys have seen the franchise quarterback every day almost, whatever, except for the days that they're outside doing their job scouting. But they know what a franchise quarterback should look like, and they'll know if that's what they have in Daniel Jones or if they're going to need to get a franchise quarterback coming in here. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm excited about.
And then like specifically your guy Ryan Poles that you like, Kansas City. I mean, just look what the Kansas City Chiefs did last offseason. Their O-line
in 1
wasn't
year.
great, and in 1 year, I mean, granted, they're not like I would say they're a top 5, top 10 unit.
I wouldn't know. I need to.
I mean, they have
evaluate
some
them to
good
see
players,
say
like
that.
a Trey Smith
Yeah.
was a good draft pick. Creed Humphrey was a nice pickup.
Right.
They traded for Orlando Brown, who isn't the best left tackle in the league, but I mean he's there. He's serviceable. He's like they have a good, and they're all young guys. They have a good core right there. You know what I mean? So
Ryan Poles played football. He was an offensive lineman. It looks like dude it's a huge guy. Oh, he looks like a fullback. Or there's a picture of him. I'm gonna send it to you on Twitter. This guy looks great on with pads on, dude. Like
I listened to a little snippet of an interview that Ryan Poles had, and he was talking about the main objective as an organization to be successful in football is the front office and the coaching staff walking side by side, same vision, same goals, same mindset. That was, and I told you, was orgasmic to hear. It felt like Dave Gettleman was drafting like it was 1980s and Judge was coaching like it was 2006.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, and they're both off. You know, like, it just,
we're in 2022. Right.
And this is the one thing about the GM search that is interesting that was told that I did read about. So up top of all that, obviously everyone is still like, Judge is here as of now.
Right.
But there's a bit of a caveat. I don't know what the case is, but Big Blue United tweeted. I don't know if I followed them up, and they're kind of like one of those. Yeah, they tweeted earlier, stated that they had a chance to speak to a few people close to the Big Blue, and stated Judge is the head coach currently.
Right.
That if Mara hires the GM, and that GM wants his own coach, then Judge won't be the coach. I do like this, but I also don't necessarily. I'm not a fan of them doing this because they should have just cut the cord. And I know cutting the cord is hard. I know I have a daughter. That cord is not easy. It's slippery. It gets, sometimes it slips off. It's hard cutting the cord. They should have done it because that's going to be ultimately the best way to just start fresh.
Here's my evaluation on that. And I agree with you 100%.
I guess we can get into Judge right now.
They should have gotten rid of Judge right away because you get rid of players with
they should have gotten rid of Judge after that play in 3rd and 9.
Absolutely. And we can touch base on that disgusting thing. We're going to talk about Judge right now in a second. Matter of fact, we'll get into Judge right now. Judge is still with the team right now. My opinion, your opinion, I think we could both agree we wanted him gone. And we'll talk about what Judge needs to improve in order to him even have a chance here. And again, like you just finished saying, and I tweeted this like about 10, 20 minutes ago, how did the Giants brass? Because it was so confusing today with the reports. It was like, oh, Judge is meeting right now with the ownership. No, he's not. He's meeting at 3:00. No, he's not. He hasn't met
50, 35-25. I think the team is torn.
So all over the place. And what I'm hoping for is that the Giants ownership, and I tweeted this, said, you got to wait till we bring the new GM here and you got to interview for your job again with the new GM. We like you. This is what I hope they said. We love you, but you got to have him love you. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. I hope it was a conversation similar.
Yeah, I hope it was something like I hope they were upfront with Judge and said, hey, we're going to bring in the GM. We're going to hire the best person available, bar none.
Right.
And if they want you, you're here. If they don't.
What does that suck, though?
Yeah.
It sucks for Judge because you leave him in a limbo. But
I tend to not feel bad about Tony. I don't feel bad about these guys because they're millionaires losing jobs.
Thank you.
It ain't the same as like a player getting cut. They got a guaranteed contract. They're straight.
Cut in the limbo anyways. Yeah. So I don't feel bad for that in that sense.
Besides, you see the way Judge dresses? He dressed like a bum. He's fine. He's gonna make the money stretch. He's alright for life.
He got good money management.
Yeah, he'll probably get a head coaching job in like a college somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna probably go back to the Patriots. It's like all the rest of the Belichick.
Like Brian Flores, which that was surprising.
Very surprising. Very disappointing from Miami. Miami is just Miami. They're
when you see that, how are you not like, okay, Joe Judge is next, right?
Yeah, but apparently he's still good. He's good enough to still keep his job or to interview for the next GM, which is insane, dude. What are your problems with Judge? And if Judge is, and God forbid he is, but if he is the coach next year, what do you need to see from Judge to even have some type of faith on him?
I'm sorry. I just kept, every time you say Judge, this motherfucker just pops out, Pennywise, Killjoy, whoever you like. But yeah, no, my thing that I didn't like about Joe Judge is that he seemed to regress in his coaching job from last year to now. Mm-hmm. All these things he said, he promised a lot of things like Gettleman. Mm-hmm. What I want is a tough football team that's going to be able to put a product on the field that the city of New York is proud of, because this team will represent the area.
Yeah.
Play fast, play downhill. Like he said this exact quote: "We're going to punch you in the mouth for 60 minutes with a relentless edge, and every play is going to have that competitive edge and the relentless story of its owner." Some stupid shit like that, like idiotic things. Mm-hmm. And granted, last year he honey-dicked a lot of us. Mm-hmm. And granted, maybe there were good things last year. Like last year, the team wasn't as injured as they were this year.
Ran the ball pretty well.
Playing last year when there was no fans, as opposed to this year, all the fans are back. That maybe that had something to do with it. There were Daniel Jones being in the lineup for more than, he was out for 6-7 games out. And then now having him there, at least he was only out for 2 years last year, but that was there was a lot of different things. He just seemed to be a guy who didn't get better. He didn't seem to care as much about those decisions that we talked about, like Gettleman drafting this player, that player, that player. He seemed to just keep saying that about not drafting O-line, be okay with the personnel we have, being trusted of guys like Zach Fulton or Joe Looney or, X other player who stunk, being okay with just like having it like a New England mindset of we're gonna have our best players that fit our system. They didn't have a system offensively.
There's
no defensively,
structure. You don't have an identity on offense. Absolutely.
They didn't have no identity on offense. Their defense was getting shredded.
To be honest, no identity on defense either.
Yeah, like no
what
player
can you say in this defense that is like, this defense is gonna do this? Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. Like
they might have a good game. They might have a bad game. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all they are.
And the defense. Like that's one of the reasons why you may want to say Judge might have to stay, because that defense, Patrick Graham was a good D coordinator, and that guys are tied at the hip together. They're homies.
And I don't think Patrick Graham is a great defensive coordinator. I think he's okay. To be honest, there's just a lot of things about this entire team with the coaching staff that just me thinking about it every time just makes me want to throw up. I'm gonna tell you,
Judge's offense system was terrible. He wasn't aggressive. He didn't go for it on fourth down. He didn't prioritize scoring points. He prioritized too much, like saying that we're gonna play the the field of football. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put the team in. We're gonna score as points as we can, but it's gonna be a defensive game that we win. When you don't have a dominant defense, unique, like even in the Giants Super Bowl wins, that
you thought it was gonna be a Tampa 2 defense that we're talking about. He thought it was like the Tampa Bay Bucks from that year that they won with.
Even though the team had, I'm gonna get into it. The thing that probably pissed me off the most about Joe Judge was the fact that this whole 11-minute rant talking about like this isn't a clown show, that we're not punching each other on the sidelines.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
You understand? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like he was saying all this dumb, stupid shit, and was again and again and again giving them more reasons to shit on you. You go for it on fourth down, but then you don't go for it on this fourth down. You go to, oh, we're gonna go for it? Oh no, I'm kidding. Let's get the punt unit out real quick. Stupid stuff. The third 2 QB sneaks when your freaking shadow of the goalpost is right here, like the whole it was offensively. And the one worst part about it, maybe this is not even as bad, maybe I'm just pet peeving at this point. It took him 2 seasons to have one of his special teams do good, like yesterday's game against a football team. That was the only time where I was like, oh, the special teams played good. And he's a fucking special teams coach.
I thought you was going to hit with where I was going to go with this. It
go
took
ahead,
him 2 years to realize Jason Garrett is not the guy. That was shocked at that, bro. Where, listen, Manny, me and you are just fans. Just passionate fans looking at the game. We have some sort of history with knowledge of football. We have some football knowledge, but we're not in there. You know what I'm saying? We're not in that building. We're not professionals at it. We're not experts. Last year, at the end of the season, I could have told you Jason Garrett doesn't know what he's doing. He's not running an offense. Just look at any other Sunday game. And look how the offense are run in any other Sunday game.
If Judge would have went into Mara's office last year, the same way he went at the reporters at that last week with that 11-minute rant, Garrett would have been gone. But he just, for whatever reason, he was just okay to go along with the ride. And he's the one fucking driving the car.
Yeah, why week 10, bro? Like, did a player finally come up to Judge and say, yo,
and please,
you got to get him out of here?
And don't say all this, familiar, they honey dicked me, dude, because I thought the same thing. Oh, familiarity, it makes sense. You don't want Jones to go through a third system in his third season.
Bro.
Daniel Jones, what the fucking dude? He can. He's fine. He's gonna be able to figure this out. And if he isn't, he ain't the guy.
Think about it this way, bro. Fromm came in and Fromm supposedly learned 60% of the playbook in 3 weeks or whatever. So you don't think that with a brand new offseason, with OTAs, with with training camp, you can't learn a playbook? Like, stop giving me excuses. The Giants love to give you excuses if it takes to
And
rebuild
that's the thing.
4 years and all this other
And they
bullshit.
it just really made it just and the whole offensive line situation with being
Yes.
okay with having guys like Matt Pert, who didn't start last year except for one game, Shane Lemieux, who's been up and down, Will Hernandez, who was just coming off of COVID. You let go of Kevin Zeitler and you replace him with Kevin Kyle Rudolph. Like, you don't properly work on that offensive line. And granted, okay, maybe there was players that got drafted before them that they would have gotten for.
Yeah.
Fine. But I mean, nothing. Like, in the 6th round, you could have had Trey Smith, who's a starter for the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line,
Right.
one of the better young offensive linemen in the league right now.
It's crazy how
And
they
instead,
didn't
you go
address
and get
the line.
a fucking running back who didn't finish the goddamn season
Yeah. Yep.
for special teams.
Yep.
And the special team was trash. Riley Dixon has to go. I gotta say that.
Yeah, dude, we don't have nothing special about our special teams. Like, you would think, like
Graham Gano,
yes, probably
That's
one
it.
of the best kickers in
Scottish Hammer.
But yo, the amount of attempts that he got, I don't want to see that ever again in my life.
No, I don't want.
Please.
No,
Like, this
I
guy was
don't-
getting about 4 field goal attempts a freaking game, bro.
I don't want next year to look at Pro Bowl voting and be like, the only guy who I think will make it is.
Graham Gano, yeah.
Nah.
Judge needs to work on his 2-minute offense and defense. The timeout usage was terrible.
Terrible.
Dude, like,
He challenged 2 shitty plays this year. First game and last game. Yesterday was a bad challenge. Denver was a bad challenge.
You could tell, like, yo, his pulse on the game is so off that honestly, if
No
the new
urgency
GM
scoring
comes in,
touchdowns.
if the new GM comes in and the new GM says, yeah, we're keeping Judge for 1 more year, I would have a little bit of a cringe moment on that GM. That would be like a little of a strike to me for that GM. But
yeah. I mean, it depends for me.
Can Judge improve enough? Here's my prediction. I don't think that coaches improve. I think it's really rare you see a coach improve from year to year. There's so much improvement needed on Judge that I just don't think we're going to get all of that in one season. So I think there's going to be a lot of close games that, because of Judge's coaching decisions, we're going to lose. And that's what worries me about Judge in general, where he's going to have like a 4th and 1 on opponent's side of the ball, and he's going to decide to punt and play defense instead of like going for the kill. You know what I'm saying? That kind of things, that's going to worry me.
And maybe a lot of that had to do with him knowing the personnel, him knowing that the offensive scheme was stir fry. Maybe all that had to do with it. But I mean, listen, a lot of my opinions of Judge might change or be different depending on who they hire as an OC. And we can get into that next week, talking about who we want, because by this time next week we should fucking know who the coach is.
You think so? You think that they'll have the GM
if it takes this goddamn long, I might really fucking lose it. I'm never gonna not like the Giants. They're always gonna be my team, but I'm gonna be
we won't
hot.
Get a offensive coordinator. We won't get a general manager until the NFC-AFC championship game.
No, I'm talking about by that time we should know the coach situation more in depth.
Neither.
You don't even think?
I think they're gonna bring in the coordinator first before they bring a coach in first.
So you're saying that we should hope for like Kansas City Chiefs and the Bills to lose in the first round of the playoffs, so that their GM so that those guys are
because their GM still is gonna interview.
I have heard Joe Sheen has actually had some conversations with the Giants during the season.
They could they could hire those people and still be fine. Those people have no effect on.
I'm just thinking about, like, earlier they get in here, the sooner they can clean this shit up.
Yeah, but I don't even so. I just don't think the Giants are gonna make an announcement to the championship to the division championship game. I think that's my opinion on it. We'll see how that goes on that. Yeah. But if it's next week, hell yeah. But I just don't think that you could line up 8 guys and have them interview within a week. I just think it doesn't happen.
I just hope that at this point, listen, if Judge, I think we're both kind of out on Judge.
Yes.
But if Judge does stay,
Yes.
I think we'll both be willing to get convinced if, depending on who that GM is and who the OC is going to be. Like that's going to be that's an important. Those are two of the most important hires that they make this year.
Last thing I'm saying about Judge, it's to me the same rules that apply for Judge apply for Jones, in the sense of this. I think Jones can be successful if you give him the things around him that are gonna help him tremendously. He can't carry a team, but if a team can carry him, I feel like he could go with the team and take him.
And we kind of saw that this year. Huh? We saw that.
Yes.
We saw that this year. Not the best O-line.
Right.
Still a stir-fry OC. Right. And they had moments this season. Like, if Darius Slayton, like, bro.
So, same thing with Judge. If Judge has the correct coordinator and the right GM around him, I think that Judge can produce in terms of wins. And that's pretty much it. That's where I'm at the point with him and with Daniel Jones for this upcoming season.
At this point, and I'll leave it at this with Judge. If he stays, they better fucking bring in the right offensive coordinator. That GM better be the right fucking dude that knows how to evaluate talent. And I swear to God, if by this time next year I'm looking forward to the playoffs, and I'm looking more forward to the Cowboys loss and the Giants win, I'm gonna be fucking hot, because I'm not expecting this team's gonna make the Super Bowl. I don't even know if they can make it to the playoffs.
No, they have
to
make dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. Can we
at least compete?
They have to be competitive to wild card, man.
Fun fact.
No excuses.
The Eagles, you know how the Eagles made it to the playoffs, right?
Right.
They hadn't beaten any team that had made it to the playoffs on their way to the playoff run. The Giants beat two teams, Eagles and Raiders.
You know what scares me about the Eagles? Stupid. You brought up the Eagles right now. They're only going to get better, bro. They're going to get drastic.
I don't know about that, though.
Why?
I don't know. Because first off, on their schedule,
three first rounders?
Yeah, 3 first rounders, but they're like, and they're not like, I think their highest first round pick is like 12 or 11.
Dude, it's still the
and
top
I get it.
And
I get it.
It's still the top.
Yeah, and I get it. I understand, but I mean, you're thinking about
what would you rather have right now? You rather have 3 first round draft picks, how the Eagles have it, or would you rather have our 2 first rounders?
You may think I'm crazy, but give me our first 2.
Okay.
Because I don't know what the Eagles' second and third round situation looks like.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of banking on that. But also too, I want, like, our team can do a lot of different things with those first 2 picks in the first round. Whereas the Eagles, I'm just not sold on the Eagles as much, because they didn't beat anyone worth a damn this year. Mm-hmm. They have a really good offensive line. Yes, that's very understood.
I think that they're going to give Tampa a run for their money in the playoffs.
But remember, we were 3-3 going into the half with Jake Fromm at quarterback. You're telling me if the Giants don't upgrade on the offensive line and Daniel Jones gets back and our offensive system doesn't upgrade, you're not telling me the Giants at least compete?
But I think the Giants have a good team and they have a good defense. At least personnel-wise, I think they have a really good personnel on defense.
I think the NFC,
really good personnel on offense, too. It's literally just the offensive line that needs to get fixed on offense.
I think the NFC will be better.
What else do you want to see on the offensive line? I mean, what else in the offense you think needs change besides the offensive line?
I mean, they're going to have to bring in. They're gonna have to draft. They're gonna have to draft to bring in another tight end, and I think they're gonna have to bring in a legit quarterback to compete with Daniel Jones, if nothing else. If you're not gonna trade for Russell Wilson or those types of guys, at least bring in a Tyrod Taylor or a quarterback who can compete with Daniel Jones for that.
But tight end isn't a make or break position. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's not. I mean, they have places there, but you can't go in the season with
a tight end that can block well. You know what I'm saying?
The best tight end in the draft right now is projected to be a 3rd round pick.
Perfect.
I wouldn't be mad if the Giants put a 3rd rounder on a tight end. Trey McBride from Colorado. That'd be cool. Yeah. But like, I think player wise, it's the offensive line. That's obvious. Mm-hmm. I think they need to.
We got Tony and we got Galladay.
I think they're gonna have to replace Sterling Shepard. I don't think he's gonna be on the team anymore next year, which stinks. Stinks. By the way, who cares if this man got fucking divorced? Let's just leave that alone. Okay, that's enough.
Come on, man. Yeah. Yo, guys, come on. I just want to give a quick announcement to anybody who's watching this, man, and you're on Giants Twitter, bro. Just, hey, yo, stick to the X's and O's, man. Leave the personal life of these players alone, man. Like, they're not hurting you. You don't have to laugh at their misery, at their pain.
Compared to the Giants season.
Like, come on, guys. Like.
And I'm listen. this is my first year on Giants Twitter, like as a whole. It's been awesome.
My first year
And
really in the trenches.
yeah,
Though. So
it's been
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
awesome. It's been a lot of fun. I don't have really much angst towards anyone on Giants Twitter,
Yeah.
but I cannot wait to go into this off season now. And I appreciate you for bringing me on the ride, brother.
Yeah, brother. And absolutely, brother. No, dude, this offseason it's gonna be a ride, man. It's gonna be a good ride. We're gonna be there for the rest of the way for the offseason and into the season. And we're just at the beginning of it. Let's talk about before we wrap this up, Manny. Let's talk about real quick the players. I want to say the players that we want to see improve, but also let's throw a little caveat there. The players you think they're not gonna be here next year, for sure that are not gonna be here next year. Let's start with that one. Let's start with the players you think that are gone next year.
Will Hernandez is gone. Nate Solder is gone. The whole offensive line, pretty much, with the exception
You don't think
of
anybody's gonna be brought back to be at least be a backup? Anybody there?
Unless Will Hernandez is just asking for a bag of plantains and some green salsa, I don't think he's gonna be back.
I think Will's gonna be back. To be honest, though.
Bro, they better give him like a vet min in pesos.
I don't think. Oh wait, here's my thing though about it. I could see Will Hernandez go somewhere else and freaking kill it. Because he has a lot of strength. He's just a dumb man.
You think it had to do with him switching from the left to right, or does that even matter?
I don't think it matters.
Okay. I don't think he'll.
But god damn it, like, how come this guy still doesn't know how to pick up a goddamn stunt? Like, what? I don't even put that on him, man. I can't put that on him, man. Because listen, if my guy can't pick up a stunt and I depend on him so much, he's gone. Yo, he's on the bench. I'm benching him, bro. Like, he's not playing.
Yeah.
Yo,
and the Giants had a
stunt. You're on
and
the
the Giants
bench.
had and the Giants had a bus full of offensive line coaches this year, and it looked like they only worked on Andrew Thomas, right? So, but for me, it's going to be.
Yo, I don't even think they worked on Andrew Thomas, man. I think Andrew Thomas is just God-given talent, to be honest.
You think he's just a dog?
Dude. I don't think I do. Yeah. And here's the problem with it. And here's why I can tell you that the Giants' offensive coaches, the whole blocking scheme was off with this team. It was like, dude, before this play is snapped, we went through this play in practice. We know who we got to block based on where they're lining up. But then you keep seeing dumb things, and you're like, nah, you guys aren't doing a good job with those blocking schemes in practice. So I'm not buying it. So I really am not buying it. Like, I'm really scared that Hernandez goes somewhere and he actually shines. And we're going to have the same Zeiler conversation now with Hernandez. I'm really scared of that.
My guy's going to go play at the fucking – he's going to play in the XFL. But, I think Nate Solder, Will Hernandez, Billy Price.
Price gone.
Ingram's gone.
And Ingram's going to shine and get 10 touchdowns somewhere else. I guarantee you that's going to happen.
Yeah, for the USFL. But Shepard's gone. I think Kyle Rudolph is a question.
He's gone.
Because you do clear eight
rap.
Bro.
He's gone, bro.
Okay, so him.
No doubt.
I think a GM might come in here and be like, why the fuck did they give Devin Booker a contract? We have Devin Booker, and he just sells more jerseys. Saquon Barkley.
Devin Booker gone.
I think they're going to look for a new fullback, one that's not going to make a stupid play in Kansas City and have the team come back 15 yards, and then you probably lost that game because of it. Eli Penny, thank you.
Eli Penny is relevant though. That's so it could be.
JR, I think John Ross might be brought back, but maybe.
Yeah.
On the defensive side, Lorenzo Carter, O'Shane Jimenez is probably going to get cut.
You think Carter's gone?
I think so. I don't think they bring back Carter unless he like legit asks for like a Metro card
contract. Yeah, I agree with that.
Metro card contract, like very cheap. O'Shane Jimenez.
You're right. He's gone.
O'Shane Jimenez, he's gone.
Peppers.
I don't think they bring Peppers back.
Contract is expired, so it don't matter.
Yeah, I don't think they'll bring Peppers back.
He can't. I think with an ACL, he's gonna be slow.
Riley Dixon needs to be gone.
Gone. You know who I think is gonna be? You know who two of my players that are gonna be in the bubble? To be honest, Blake Martinez is on the bubble for me. Even though he's great at run block, but I could see a GM saying, "Hey, look, I could get somebody in the draft that's better than Blake." And Logan Ryan to me is on the bubble.
Honestly, the only reason why I don't want to think about like Blake Martinez, Logan Ryan, James Bradbury, guys that are on the bubble that could be gone.
I don't think there's no way.
I agree. a lot of people have mentioned that
But
he
safety,
should be at
but the
least
safety
considered.
position, dude, it's such a. I think about it like this: if I'm building a team, I want faster, stronger. I don't care how dumb you are at safety. I just want you to be fast and strong. I want you to go sideline on sideline. Same thing with linebacker. Yes, they have to be some type of IQ smart, football smart, but I want athleticism in the middle of the field. So I
Yeah.
don't want old players that are slow. I want somebody with McKinney that's freaking just as athletic as McKinney out there.
I mean, shoot, there's a guy right now playing the national championship final from Georgia, Nakobe Dean, who's, man, that guy's a
I hope
spark
that he's in the
plug
second
that
round,
just
and I hope that we get him. I'm
sonic
praying we
zoom.
get something, man.
The only reason why I'm not really about, like, I get Logan Ryan hasn't been great this year. Blake Martinez was injured. James Bradbury had a declining year. But I don't want to get rid of good guys for cap relief, because that's what the Giants did with letting go of Kevin Zeitler, and they didn't replace him. So if you could promise me he gets replaced with players that can play, cool.
Yes.
But if you replace him with Zach Bolton, nah.
No. I completely get you with that. I think that if you get younger and faster,
don't get rid of Logan Ryan and then bring in Antonio Hamilton.
No. Exactly. You gotta get younger and you gotta get faster. That's the only thing. That's the only way I could see it working.
I'll ask this one fun question, and then we'll get on to the next topic. But if they let go of Logan, if Logan Ryan was let go, would you be down if the Giants, with one of those first round picks,
drafted that safety from Notre Dame?
Kyle Hamilton, 6'5" safety, 6'4" safety?
My thing is, I saw the highlight tape. I think you sent it to me. I did. Yo, dude, he reminded me of that Mays kid from USC back in the day, where he just didn't translate to professional football. And that's just my concern. I see the size. I just don't really see the lateral quickness as like he went from. I saw one of the interceptions that he caught. He was like on one side of the field, completely ran to the other side of the field and caught the interception. But I'm just like, I want to see some combine numbers on that. Like,
that's going to be. And I think this year we get a combine.
And we got a combine last year too. We got a combine last year.
No, we had a pro day last year.
The player pro days. You're right.
I think that we get both this year, and that should be a good indication. That's gonna be super exciting to look at.
Yes. So I'm a little bit hesitant on that, man. I know there's a lot of people on Giants Twitter that's all in on this kid, and they wouldn't mind seeing him drafted. I don't know, man. I'm a type of guy that just like running backs, you don't spend a high draft pick on running backs. I don't think you spend a high draft pick on safeties neither. I'm not big on that. So I would be really hurt if they spend a high pick on a safety. Let's go with players you want to see, like you're looking forward to next year off the bat. Real early players we're looking forward to see off the bat. Obviously, we're gonna have this conversation late, sometime in the offseason, but just off the bat, what are we going?
I think right off the bat, the guys I'm most excited looking forward to see next year in this order: Andrew Thomas. I can't wait to see him. I hope they drop some dogs next to him. He deserves it.
Yes.
Xavier McKinney.
Right. Yes.
Darius Toney, give him a health, get him healthy, get him ready, get him in an offensive system worth a fuck, and he'll be badass.
I hope you heard Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams said, "You in the offseason, you just run routes, bro. You
run route, yeah.
You don't run routes. You don't do these agility drills. You don't do this ladder drill. You just run routes, and that's what we do. So I hope you listen to Devontae said that, man.
Aaron Robinson. Azeez Ojulari, free agents that we picked up last year. The real one I'm most hoping for a bounce back year, because god damn, he needs it, is Kenny Golladay. And there's a lot of people that are off on Kenny Golladay, so I want to get your opinion. Obviously, everyone's off on that one third down pass that Fromm had. He had it in his hands, didn't extend it, lost the ball, didn't get it. Could have been a touchdown, could have been a first down. But what is your opinion about it? Because to me, I don't give a fuck.
Thank you. You mentioned that. Listen, if he would have made that catch, would the Giants win the game regardless? No.
He probably doesn't even score a touchdown.
Yo, exactly.
Somebody tried to compare it to George Pickens doing that same type of catch in the national championship game in college playoffs when he hasn't even gone to come on, guys.
Nah, dude, get over it. Listen, do I think Kenny Golladay
I think at a certain point, people just trying to they're so upset with everything. They just want to. Everyone gets it.
So
everyone gets it. Everyone
everybody.
gets it. Like Oprah, you get shitted on. You get shitted on.
Yes, they want to attack everybody. They want to leave no stones unturned. Giants Twitter is probably the most toxic of all Twitter in any team in the NFL. And
Full of
obviously I haven't seen any other team Twitter, but I'm pretty sure Giants is toxic kingdom
full of
because it's New
minorities and
Yorkers too.
Italians.
You know what I'm saying? Like the
Oh,
tri-state area.
yeah.
So
Some
you
type
know
of
these
blood,
guys.
some type of New York blood in you that just you have an opinion.
That pettiness is at
Yeah,
an
that shit,
all-time
that
high.
Craig Carton mentality.
Yes. That New York radio. I'm excited for Kenny Galladay. I think Kenny Galladay is a hell of a player. They just used him terribly in this offense. So I'm excited to see Kenny Galladay this season. And I'm
You know, I just
excited to
noticed
see
though.
the two
Yeah.
opposite that they're complete opposite players.
Yeah.
Galladay and Tony. So these guys are complementary pieces to each other. It's gonna be great to see them.
Yeah. Notice though, we didn't mention at all about Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. What's your opinions about them as we come
I
in?
want to see I'm gonna start with Barkley because Daniel Jones is a whole paragraph and essay. I want to see Barkley just get skinnier. I want him to get his agility back and his speed back. I think he is way too bulky.
We get it. You can squat.
Yes, and it's just like, okay, Saquon, what are you? Are you a are you a north and south runner? Are you a agility type of running back? Pick one, bro. And
You're a third
work on
down, yeah.
one. Like, are you a scat back or are you a in the trenches inside the
Are you
tackle
Brandon
running back?
Jacobs or are you
Are
Ahmad
you
Bradshaw?
Brasha? Don't try to be both. Just be one and be really good at one. And that's my thing on Barkley.
I think the Giants do have to bring in another running back, whether it's
Without a doubt.
not. I'm not talking about Booker, like let go of Booker, but I'm talking about if the Giants send a fifth or a sixth rounder on a running back who can come in and be
bring
like
somebody with
that
track athlete, bro.
running back by committee.
Yeah.
By committee.
Yo,
I'd be down with that.
bring a track athlete who runs like a 4.3 at running back. That's what I want to see. Like I just want to see somebody who's either really fast or really big, like the Dylan guy from Green Bay. That's what I
Chris
want to see.
Rodriguez from Kentucky. That's a dude that I can't wait to get in to start watching tape on.
He's just a track star. Dude is fast.
He runs fast. Like he's like Saquon but lighter.
Yeah.
And just a lot more quicker, but he can get those second and third yards when you need it to.
To be honest, I wish Tony Pollard was a free agent next year. I love Tony Pollard from the
So
Cowboys.
Zeke might be a free agent next year.
Zeke.
I know, but I'm saying Zeke.
Yeah.
Ain't that crazy? So about Daniel
Tony
Jones.
Pollard is going to take his
Yeah.
job. In my opinion, that's what's going to happen. I mean, I was waiting for it this year. It didn't happen, but he did get a lot of snaps. Tony Pollard did.
But he got injured too with
Yeah.
that foot injury, so I probably messed that idea up.
That's
What
true,
about
too.
your opinions on Daniel Jones?
So here's
and then
the
we
thing
can wrap
with
it up.
Jones, and this is again, and I mentioned Judge and how Jones needs to have everybody around him be good. Here's what I get it, and this is the same thing that I came in last year with. I'm gonna come in this year with the whole entire summer. Pocket awareness. Daniel Jones has the reputation of if he's in trouble, he's gonna do two things. He's gonna backpedal and he's gonna throw off his back foot. Wrong. Don't do that. Or he's gonna escape to his right and he's gonna throw on the run from his right. That's cool. I like that. Try escaping on your left sometimes too, Daniel. I know that's the opposite side of your throwing arm, and then you're gonna have to step back and make a throw. Work on that in the offseason. Pocket presence is pivotal for Daniel Jones. And I don't know if it was the coaching staff. I don't know if him that he is scared. You need to let the ball go. You need to throw down the field. You need to take more chances downfield. I have no problem seeing an interception 40 or 50 yards down the field. That to me is a long-ass punt.
And yeah, it's a long-ass punt. And also another thing is the health. Like, and a lot of it is, I mean, I know a lot of it is maybe depending on the old line, maybe depending on dirty
Him
plays,
sliding and
Jabril
stuff
Cox.
like that, yeah.
Him sliding sometimes can be a little goofy.
Mhm.
I think a lot of like he really
He
needs to
takes
get.
a lot of contact, dude.
And we were talking about the Giants front office.
Yeah.
They need to fucking address that.
Back up.
They need they got rid of Dave Gettleman. Hopefully they get rid of Judge. Hopefully they get rid of Chris Pettit. And at the very least, they better have a hard conversation with Dr. Ronnie Barnes. And if anything, they need to have their mindset on letting his ass walk too.
In terms of Jones, and this is me personally, bro. Injuries happen. I'm one thing
We
that
were
I'm
spoiled.
not gonna that I'm not exactly one thing that I'm not gonna get on Daniel Jones is about getting hurt because the kid does A for effort. He's out here trying to bang with linemen for an extra yard, which I hate it, but I respect it. And if
Oh,
he
yeah,
gets hurt, oh well. We live in the NFL where we're not gonna have a quarterback that's gonna play 16 games. It's just not gonna
that's not going to
happen.
happen anymore.
Guess what? Get a goddamn competent ass backup quarterback.
And like we were talking about Daniel Jones and couldn't even. That's another thing today that kind of pissed me off. The fact that the Giants, Joe Judge didn't speak to nobody, John Mara wasn't speaking, Steve Tisch
On
didn't
Monday,
speak, Dave Gettleman didn't speak to
has to
anybody.
be a reason
But they
for that, though,
had
man.
they had Nick Gates on a stretcher talking to somebody. They had freaking Blake Martinez talking. They had all these other players talking. Daniel Jones was
Yo,
talking,
this
defending Daniel.
organization is
They had
so
they
weird right
had
now.
Daniel Jones defending Dave Gettleman and freaking John Mara and Joe Judge. My man couldn't even move. His neck was so goddamn stiff.
Yo, but but that's also the conspiracy theory in me. Those guys haven't come out and said anything because is Joe Judge's job already safe for next year? I think that's why they haven't come out and spoken yet, man. So that's what I'm hopeful for. That's a conspiracy theorist in me. Hopefully we get
We'll
some
have to just wait
answers.
and see, man.
I hope they don't come out. I hope the owners don't come out anytime soon yet. That's only gonna and that's the thing we should talk about on Twitter. Like, that's why they haven't come out yet, because we still no, man. I hope it is, because they're not sure yet. There's no decision made yet. I hope.
I tend to lean towards that, but that's just
That's too hopeful.
That's what my wife would say. The annoying optimism that I have,
Glass half full
that
type of
I
guys,
have
bro.
a feeling, but we'll see.
Yeah, man. Yo, Manny, we're gonna leave it at right here, man. Guys, in terms of the production of the video, it's gonna be a little bit off today. I'm not on my computer though, but please bear with us. It's not the hoopla. It's not the effects. Is what me and Manny is talking about. I think that's the awesome part about you guys coming in here. I want to thank everybody for coming through with us, man. Manny, give them your @ so that if they're watching this video,
Yeah,
they holla at you.
at Manny Madrigal 58, and that's at MANNYMADRIGAL 58, Carlson Banks. I appreciate you for having me on, brother, and I can't wait to go ahead and talk more. And hopefully, the next time we talking,
Hell yeah, man.
we have a new GM, we have a new coach in the helm, or at the very least, we're looking.
Yeah, man. Or at least if maybe the candidate list has gone down from 8 to 3, maybe, or something of that sort. Manny, one thing real quick before we leave is I need the Giants to get the number one guy that they want. I don't want anybody else to hire GM before we do. I am going to be so mad if somebody hired either Schoen or the kid from the
Poe.
Chiefs, or Poe, right? Poe?
Kevin Poe, yeah.
I'm gonna be so mad, dude. Like I need the Giants to hire their guy first before anybody else. And
Ryan Poles.
Ryan Poles. All right,
yes,
guys.
Sir.
You can catch me on Twitter at BT Giants. Big shout out to Yahoo. So I forgot who was the writer. Somebody actually took my tweet that went viral on the RC and Dan Orlovsky freaking just tearing a hole on Joe Judge, which I completely agree with. Thank you for that.
That was the chef's kiss, brother.
Yo, hell yeah, that was awesome. And thank you for that, for whoever wrote that article and took my tweet, which I had nothing to do with that. I was just retweeting something. I'm not going to take any credit for that. That's just our sentiments. Guys, for Maddie, my name is Antonio, man. Thank you.